Live. You know the problem going live when you don't have that many subscribers is there's no real point. That's the thing. Let me just set the mood. Allow me to set the tone for this evening. Okay. I like the campfire kind of aesthetic I go for on here. That's kind of scary. Kind of move the light to a less intimidating position here. But then I have to hold my laptop. Yeah. I don't know. I'll use the subwoofer. There we go. I got a new subwoofer and oh, it's pretty cool. Like you don't realize the difference it makes to the quality of music you listen to. Now tonight I'm sitting here with a nice red wine. It's a DeMarco Primavito, Bellissima. It's a delicious wine. It's you know I don't drink a lot of wine, but when I do, it's red, and I just love red wine. So in my last video, I made reference to the fact that I would be joining um, someone, a girl from a course, uh, on an outing, and I did it. It's happened, but there was no particular spark, so to speak. I mean, there was kind of, but um, not really. I took her to a nice place in my hometown, where the local loch is, and there's a nice boardwalk there. And her and I got talking, and it got to that point, when the conversation goes quiet, and you think, oh, something's gonna go down here. But I felt there was hesitance on her part, so I wasn't gonna go all Casanova on that situation. I kind of just alluded to the fact that, there's something in the air here. But she made known that there was complications on her side, because she's interested in some guy that she's known for 10 years, and she's not really available. So yeah, that kind of put an end to that. And then there was another girl who I'd been involved with since February, and that's kind of went the way of the dodo as of tonight. She kind of cut off contact for 2 weeks, and I kind of sent out some feelers tonight asking what's going on. But she just came out and said, "Oh, I don't respond well to being clingy. I'm a very independent person." And I said, "Oh, there's a difference between being an independent person and being a CNX Tuesday, And I said, "I feel like you're more in Camp B than Camp A." And I said it actually a bit more rough around the edges than that. So, she wasn't really speaking to me anyway, so may as well pour a bottle of oil onto that flame. I don't know. I'm a pretty laid back camp person, but I feel like you know, the way she conveyed her message was a bit insensitive, And you gotta show people that your time is worth something. That's you gotta do that. If you make it so that your time's not worth a damn thing, then people don't respect you. And I'm not gonna have her think that, oh, I'm sitting there pining away after her. So romance is a difficult game. But what else can we get into? I did bring up some topics tonight to kind of fire into. What do we got here? Full blown preterism came up. There's an evangelist on YouTube. There's many, but there's an evangelist on YouTube called Anita Fuentes. Anita Fuentes. She's a very lovely woman, American, obviously of Mexican heritage, and yeah, she's got this ministry built up around the end times, particularly the rapture and all this. And I got thinking about her the other day because the issue of the rapture came up, and so I went onto her channel and I made it known. It says, "Look, I think you're." It's kind of, it reminds me of something you'll hear a lot of on YouTube if you follow this kind of channels I follow. LARPing, this live action role playing. That's what doomsdayers and rapture ready people. It's very oh man, it's the end of the world and zombies are coming. Better get your guns. Better get your supply of food and stuff. It's like it just doesn't feel like real life. It feels like, and that's fun, and I love that. I think it's good to invest in a bit of fantasy to make life seem a bit more exuberant than it is, which is a shame because the life is an exuberant experience. We pretty much effectively live in a fairy tale when you really disassociate and think about the majestic wonder of existence, even in terms of its mathematical, chemical, biological composition and how that all plays out. It's still a very fascinating thing, life. It is a fairy tale. But some people, like myself, I don't mind involving myself in a little bit of fantasy, but to me, the rapture is just an ill-conceived idea. And I said that to her, and I left her a message on her board, and I said, Anita, you're a great person, and she is a great person, and I'll tell you why. You know, years ago, a couple of years ago, I was in a right rut. I was in a rut, and she, out of her own pocket, sent me a bunch of DVDs and books and stuff like that, all the way from America. I don't know where she's from, but she sent me these books all the way from America, and she didn't ask for a damn penny. And I thought to myself, you know what? That's really lovely. That's a genuinely lovely thing to do. And so I told her that. I says, look, yeah, I think you're off. I think you're off on the on the your eschatology, but you're right on as a person. And hey, that's all that matters. Now I watched two Christian films recently. I don't watch a lot of Christian cinema because a lot of it's dead cheesy, but some of it can be okay. I watched The Good Catholic and I watched Come Sunday. These are both films on Netflix. And John C. McGinley was the big draw for The Good Catholic. I love John. Is it John C. McGinley? I think it's John C. McGinley. Interesting enough, have you ever seen Married with Children? Well, the guy, not the first husband of the neighbour, but the second, the one that was a bit more dashing and all the rest of it, that's John C. McGinley's cousin. The guy with the big brown hair. Not the guy with the black hair. I think he was a cop. Married with Children, that was a great show. Let's not get off topic. What was I talking about? Come Sunday, the Christian film. Not a date drunk. Sounds good. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, this is another thing. I'll thread all these themes together, but recently I've just been feeling a bit stir crazy. Like I've just come off this rather intense course, and there's a lot of socializing that goes on in that kind of environment. But I found myself recently with a lot of spare time, and I'm trying to fill that time now. And I think a good way to fill time if you feel a bit stir crazy is to go to the gym. You need to work out. You need to get that energy out, and I would highly recommend it. I've got some weights at the house, and I just do some like free weight stuff because I cannot be bothered getting myself to the gym. But that's not good. Any personal trainer worth their salt will tell you get to the gym because you're going to be more productive there, and they've got better resources. Um, but yeah, I've been messaging people tonight because I got to a point where I just started to feel like, like that frustration towards the girl that I'd kind of been on and off with since February. I kind of felt like I need to get my own headspace here, and it's not like I recommend this to people as well. I'm part of like a group on Facebook called Psychology Learners. I don't recommend it because nobody talks about psychology on there. That was the whole hips don't lie question. What's that got to do with psychology? I suppose you could make it about it, but besides the point. So I was thinking to myself, well, no, what I do is people go on that, and there's a lot of, as I say, there's a lot of Asians on that chat that talk about their depression and things. And what I do is I'll take a couple of minutes out of my day to tell them what I think is the solution to their depression or to their low mood, and I say, find yourself a routine, find yourself some diversion tactics. You've got a lot of creative intellect, and you've got to channel that into something that isn't just, man, life is shit, because we all do that from time to time. You got to channel your energy and your passions into something, and going out, can be great as well. Like go on dates, try your hand at that, meet people. So I've met a lot of great people in this course. I'm not dating them. I'm just going out. I'm asking people if they'd like to meet up for drinks and stuff like that. And I think that's a good way to go about it, particularly for myself. I like to socialize. It's a strange. I would say I'm more introverted than extroverted, but I enjoy extroversion to a degree. I think it's called ambiversion, biversion. I don't know. Like that's dangerous territory. But aye, The Good Catholic was an alright film. Film. It was an alright film. I say film a lot. Film. There's a big debate in Scotland at least about how to pronounce that word properly. Film. Film. Film is the it's a category in biology, isn't it? You've got the species, the order, the film, PHLYUM or something like that. Not the film, the film, the film. I should say film. Movie. Movie's a good way to work around about that situation. Anyways, The Good Catholic was alright. It was alright. It's a kind of low key. Danny Glover's in it. Danny Glover's also in the other film, Come Sunday, which I loved. Come Sunday. This African American preacher. It's based on a true story. I think his name's Pearson. I forget his first name, but his name's Pearson. African American pastor Pearson, or Bishop Pearson, he went by. Anyway, he got kicked out of his church for heresy, which is, they're on the right lines when they're getting kicked out for heresy. He basically came to a realization because he was brought up by this guy Oral someone. If you're American, you probably know who I'm talking about. Oral someone. What kind of name's Oral? That's not a good name for a guy. Anyways, the guy's name was Oral some such and so. He was a big preacher in America, and he took this African American preacher under his wing. But he came to the realization that, well, wait a minute, what about all these poor souls in Africa that are dying? These children who have never known Christ. And he thinks to himself, well, according to my theology, they're going straight to hell. They're getting sucked down straight to hell to be tormented forever. And he thought to himself, this doesn't make sense. And he's playing this over in his mind, and he says, I heard the voice of God speak to me. And God said, are you venting, or do you really want to know the answers to these questions? And he says, well, I want to know. It's like, what am I supposed to do here? I mean, like you're sending these people to hell for nothing. Like, this is a child that's never lived a day in its life, pretty much, and you're sucking it down to hell. He says, God said to me, God says, that's not the situation. That's not the situation. What I want you to do is I want you to go and preach the word. And he's like, you're going to put that on me? You want me to do that? He says, no, not you. He said, me. He said, I've done that already. I've taken care of that already. And then he alludes to certain verses in the Bible where it says, Jesus is the savior of the world, or for all mankind, especially those who are called or saved or whatever. Or John, there's a verse in, is it First John something or other? there's a specific reference for you. First John something or other. What it says, everybody goes to heaven. No, he went through this, so he kind of, and that's the same idea I possess as well. I don't believe that God is sucking down people to hell on a whim, these children. And it's crazy to me that there's still Christians who do believe this. That God is just sending people to hell to be tormented for eternity in the worst possible ways. What a vexatious belief. What a terrible way to conceive of God. What a slanderous opinion to have of the Holy Father, the Creator. It just defies reason for a theist to believe that kind of absurdity. And so I'm very much in the camp of Pearson, you know. But it's a bit more nuanced than that. I wouldn't say it's as cut and shut as that. I don't know how it all plays out. I don't know what happens. I'm very much in tune with this idea of different different nuances, different Wavelengths, gosh, you know when someone starts talking about wavelengths and you're just like, oh, for fuck's sake, here we go. That's what's happening. I just feel the vibrations, the vibrations. That's what I'm talking about right now, the vibrations. So we've got the vibrations going on now, right? We've delved into vibration territory. So I'm feeling different vibrations, and like there's people on different vibrations, right? So the people who are vibrating all the way up here, they're more enlightened as you, and then there's people down here and they're not so enlightened, and so the journeys are different. The journeys are different, but the destination is the same. That sounds like some guru stuff, something like that. No, I'm being serious. Something like that. Something like that. um okay, someone asked an interesting question recently. They said, where does God come from? Deal with that. Where does God come from? Riddle me that, sir. And I will riddle you that. I'm going to riddle you that right now. Where did God come from? I used to have this interesting idea about God. I said, where does God take a walk? Right? Where does God go a walk? Because God is all things. It's not like there's God and then the path. If God's going to take a walk, he needs to walk inside himself in some weird way because God is all kind of thing. So where does God come from? Where did God come from? Well, I think that question is ill-informed. I think that question comes from, well, I'll tell you what, it's a very natural question. It's a natural question. It's something that someone who has existed as a human being for so many finite years would ask. Because we're so used to things being causality, we're so used to cause and effect, to things emerging and evolving and growing. And so we put the question to God, God, where did you come from? But the question doesn't make sense. It falls apart because God doesn't belong to the category of created things. You know what I mean? That's trying to put God in a box and say, well, you obviously resulted from something. What was that? No, not God. God has always been. That's you know that's the idea. That's the idea. And I think it's the best one we got. People talk about the different um, the differences in politics around the world. Apparently, like I'm on this philosophy, science, and psychology board as well on Facebook, and a lot of it is to do with God, and a lot of it is to do with what if God didn't exist or blah blah blah. I see it like this, like the idea theism is the seed of civilization. You can't get civilization without first planting the seed of God. Jordan Peterson came up with an idea. He said, God is that in which you manifest necessary faith. Necessary because you have to start somewhere. And this necessary axiom is not a fact, but a way or mode of being, which is to say, a personality. And you could talk about that for ages. I don't know how well you can talk about it after a few glasses of wine, but I like that. Everybody has to start from something. And that something that we start from is, I think, faith. It's like, for instance, the rational intelligibility of the universe. That's a position of faith, you know? That's a position of faith. That we can trust our senses to reliably relate ideas and conceive of things. That's a measure of faith. But back to full blown preterism. Gosh, I don't know what more I could say about it. I mean, there's still people coming to my channel um, who are preterists and who are still looking for like answers and things like that, and still wondering about things. And obviously, there's still going to be people on my channel who just don't agree with preterism in the slightest. And I would just say, read through that New Testament again. Read through it. What's Jesus saying? What is he actually saying? Just take it at face value. Don't think of it as a riddle. Don't think of it as some weird, wacky, oh, I wonder how he wants me to interpret that. Just read the New Testament again, and you'll see that all the prophecy that he's given The deadline for it all to manifest is within the lifetime times of the people he's speaking to. I mean, in the final book, Revelation, the vision he's on, it says in Revelation 1, chapter 1, this is the things that are going to happen pretty soon. These things are happening quickly. There's a line in Hebrews that I really like as well. In the Young's literal translation, it says, in a very, very little, yet in a very, very little, people come. And I just think it's very clear. And when you listen to the likes of Don K. Preston, you don't really have a lot to argue with, other than to say that the hierarchy has it right in your particular religion, in your particular sect of Christianity. They've got it right. I think that's your last defense against the palpable truth, the irresistible truth of preterism. Unitarianism. I've said my piece on Unitarianism. I've talked a lot about Unitarianism in the history of this channel, and I've said my piece about it. I don't know what else there is to say, other than the Jewish conceptualization of God wasn't three-personed, and Jesus Christ's conceptualization of God, as we can infer from the scriptures, was not three-person. So when you read him, when you read Christ, he's very clear on the Shema. He's very clear on the only true God, which he defines as his Father. And to get round about that, you have to offer an apologetic for the Trinity, which is to debate against Christ and say, well, when he said that, he didn't mean it. What he actually meant was this. You know what I mean? And it's like, obviously that's, there's instances which necessitate further mediation and rumination. But on the concept of the Trinity, it's not there. It's nowhere in the Bible to be found. Not one clear not one clear scripture that says God is a three-person God, Holy Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. That's what God is. The Godhead, three-person God. The Trinity. That's what it is. It's not there. It's not in the Bible. So where is it? Well, it comes centuries later, as people seek to make sense of the scriptures. And hey, I take my hat off. Good on you for trying. Good on you for trying. There's no harm in trying to interpret these things. Hey, it's wonderful, right? But it just goes back to that whole thing about LARPing. It's like, you know what? It's wonderful enough. It's wonderful. You don't need to do that. See what you're doing, all these councils of Nicaea and all the rest of it. Chill out. Relax. You know what I mean? This is really good wine, though. Prima Vito, if I haven't said before, really. It's really lovely. Okay, so what's next on the agenda here? Okay. Nope. We've got a high. Don't just say hi. Don't give me high, okay? I can get highs all day, right? Give me something else. Give me something to work with. Throw me a line. Throw me something controversial to discuss, okay? Throw me something while you're working on that, while you're thinking of something controversial to discuss, I'm just going to come up with something controversial right now. Euthanasia. Now, don't let me finish this thought, please. Oh, here we go. There's a massive spider. Oh my good. Actually, I don't mind spiders so much. Like I would happily pour a little snifter of the old Prima Vito for a spider. I'm quite fond of the spiders. Oh, there we go. There was no spider. There's a big cookie hanging in my wall. This is a big cookie. It's been hanging there for months. It's not edible. At this point, you're going to catch something if you eat that. You're not going to survive eating that cookie at this point. But it's there. And I keep it there because it used to say I love you on it, which is a lovely sentiment for a cookie to convey. So I'm quite happy. To hang that cookie on my wall. I recommend it. If you don't have any baked goods hanging on your walls, what are you doing? Get some, bake a cake, get a little home on there. I painted recently. I don't know if you're familiar with Bob Ross. If you cannot sleep, If you suffer from insomnia, put on Bob Ross. In fact, the very shirt I'm wearing right now, this shirt, this is Bob Ross. He's got a big afro. He's not an African, but he's got a big afro. He used to be in the Air Force, apparently. He's a lovely, lovely man, and he always wishes you a great time. He's always like, God bless. And he paints all these paintings. He's got such a lovely, soft, meditative voice. It wraps you up in a blanket, so it does. Bob Ross. Yeah, I highly recommend Bob Ross. Euthanasia, though. Let's talk about the youth. That's just a terrible joke. The euthanasia. I feel sorry for the euthanasia because they've got to grow up with these regressive and oppressive regimes, you know? And that's the point that a lot of people have been making about this whole Space Force thing and dominance and military force. You know, I argued the point recently on this group on Facebook, you know. I got called like a flag waving idiot patriot. I'm like, I'm not even American. I'm just saying it's probably for the best that the Americans have the dominance in the military force because we wouldn't want Russia or China, these places with less transparency and less democratic political. It's gonna throw a word out system. We don't want them to be in control. We don't want them to have ultimate authority because if they've got their nukes orbiting the planet, that's a frightening scenario for the rest of us in the Western world who share um, of that Western ideology and history. Um, but actual euthanasia, I don't know how I feel about it. It used to be I would be dead against it. I would be dead against it because life is sacred. But now I don't know. Oh, here we go. Got some stuff going on. Inez Batur. Inez Batur. I need to look that up. Before I get into the controversial subject that is Inez Batur, let's see. Inez Batur. This will be good, won't it? Inez Batur is he's a YouTuber from Turkey, and the news on him is I don't know. I can't read that Turkish. I don't do Turkish. Okay, I love Turkey, but I can't speak the language. I was thinking there I might just impersonate a turkey, but that'd be bad. That'd be bad YouTube. You don't want to do that on YouTube's. Oh, transhumanism. There was a transhumanist who was adopted into the family. The surname's difficult to pronounce if you don't have it up. But if you just look up transhumanist passes away, he passed away in April, not October this year, April this year. He didn't have a time machine. He was in one of those, what do they call them? Sensory deprivation chambers. They found him dead in there. They believe that he overdosed in ketamine. Um, disturbed young guy apparently. 28 years old. But I find these transhumanists tend to be atheist, and I think that's betrayed by their um, inability to come to terms with the idea of death. The transhumanist community believe that death is wrong, and they've got all these theorists out there about how they can salvage a life, and it's oh, there we go, message retracted. Give me something I can work with here. High diet bolat. You know what I mean? Give me something I can work with. So yeah, transhumanism. To me, it screams of religious ideology. It's got that desire and wanting for life to continue that supersedes the boundaries of what I think a pure atheism would dictate reasonable. Man, this is word salad right here. Dictate reasonable. Well, let me tell you about dictating reasonable. So, there's boundaries. What am I talking about? I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna get off the topic of euthanasia. I can't deal with it. It's too heavy. It's too. Give me something light. Someone throw up something light. Right, I've got a friend messaging me on Facebook. What's she saying? Yeah, not a date. Drunk sounds ace. Um. Oh, sweet. When though? Got a friend on this course. Something weird happened on this course. You when you got to the end of this course, a lot of people started to, well, a few people, I'm not going to make out like, oh, hundreds of people are like, oh, you're the best. There was a handful. There's like a couple, there's two people that thought, William's quite nice. And this person I'm speaking to now is one of them. Interesting lass, Muslim, but not what you would call practicing. Instead, she's more what you would call, whatever a Muslim is that goes out and drinks and, you know, isn't exactly dead set on another Muslim partner. That kind of Muslim, probably, the black sheep, you might call them. But a wonderful personality. Don't want to say too much. You won't know. You won't be able to infer who she is if I say this. But she was actually a child of the Bosnian genocide. She was a baby in the concentration camps when the Serbians came in. I think the Serbs wanted to get rid of the Muslims and some other groups as well, and so she had to flee with her family. And of course, a baby. You don't remember that, but still, interesting story. I mean, she broke that one out early. That's a nice breaker. Genocide. I mean, it's the light things in life. That give you that. Oh, just gives you that sense of those vibrations. uh, okay. She's offline. She's gone. It's over. It's over. Um, what else am I commiserating about? I think that's it. No idea what that Turkish guy was all about. 20 years old, Turkish. I heard that Turkey's a terrible destination to go on holiday because there's a lot of lot illegal goings ons. I just love this YouTube channel right now, Shameen. If you've not seen Shameen, Shamien, he's really funny. He gives all these like Jordan Peterson or Peter Jordanson as he calls them videos, and they're all edited out of context, and they're really really funny for it. Really good stuff. Um, Gosh, what is going on? Can I invite people into this? Because I would appreciate another voice right now. Everybody get involved. Share. Mute microphone. No, I don't want to mute microphone. Definitely don't want to share this. I like a level of what's the word I'm looking for? Anonymity doesn't sound right. Animosity is definitely not the word. Anonymity. Nah, that's not it. Just anonymous smish. I don't like to publicize my YouTube channel to my immediate sphere of influence, like the people I know, because I say things on here that I probably wouldn't get away with saying in certain circles, which would be bad for employment. Nah, probably not. I'm not really that controversial, am I? I hardly say anything controversial. Right, okay. I don't know if I have any more uproarious stuff to get into. See, I've got. Right, I think, yeah, Edinburgh. I would say Edinburgh is a better city than Glasgow. So I'm going to Edinburgh on Thursday, and I'm looking forward to it. I just find I like the space. Glasgow is quite. It's all jammed together, and the buildings are quite oppressive and grey, and it's nice in the West End. Don't get me wrong. I love the Omar, whatever you call it, the big Gallic place, the church that's been converted into a pub. The Omen. Oh, I forget it. I'm too whiny to talk about that. But Edinburgh itself is much more open plan. You've got a volcano with a castle. You've got Arthur's Seat. You've got big parks and it's just gorgeous. Um, yeah. Let's see. I've been trying to formulate a topic, but I've been drawing blank. Now you know my situation. I'm drawing a blank as well. I've got nothing right now. No, you know what? I'm here to talk about stuff. Yes. If you know how to pop in by all means. That would make things a lot better. I don't know how to make that happen. If you can hack into the matrix and make that happen, is send link on face. Oh, can I do that? I'm using my phone. I'm using my phone right now. Let's see if I press here. Live chat, all visible messages, hide all chat. What does this one do? Click here, share. Yeah. Let's see actually. Oh, I know what to do. I've got my laptop here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump onto my laptop, and if I go into my channel, this should be broadcasted on my channel. Yeah, it is there, it's there. So what I need to do is open Facebook, and then let's see. Boom, there we go. Send a message. Right, here we go. We're getting places now. Take that. And oh wow, that's so creepy. Like I can see myself on the camera. It's crazy, right? I feel like that's not the right thing to do that I've just done. I'm just pretty much taking the HTTPS address and then putting that in a message. I feel like that's just going to link to the video. There must be a better way of doing this. Okay, okay. What can I do? What can I do? Hangouts would be better. Davis Arini. Davis Arini, so he's above my pay grade. I don't associate with the likes of him. Let's see. I don't know. I don't know. Hangouts may be better. You know what? This is a very loose video. What I could do is I could stop this video just now, and then enhance it by featuring a Druce. I could enhance it that way. So let me think about that. How do I go about this? I could put it on here. I could use a laptop camera. That would maybe make it easier. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna put this down, and then I'm gonna find a way to do it on the Hangouts. Okay, and then we'll get a we'll get a Druce involved in this situation. That'd be much better. Okay, 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Let's hit that X. Okay.